Welcome, race fans, to the Smokin Gobbler Truck Series race number 10, the Sick With It Motorsports. We're going to try to get that down pat before the end of the night. The Swim 150 here at the Tricky Triangle, Pocono, the 2.5 mile, 3-turn racetrack. Qualifying is just about it's underway. It's about completed here. Joining me today is David Huckleberry here, our producer, bringing you these wonderful shots from Pocono. Also, me, Gerald Campbell, your announcer today. Joining me back again, Harrison Taillon. Missed last week, but made sure to show up for this one. His paycheck did clear, so he is here now. So you can see underneath his name, here, Harrison Taillon. So, we have 2 races left, Harrison. And just to give you a rundown, we're going to, once we get going green here, we'll show you the screen. David's been hard at work trying to get the points kind of reference on the scoring monitor here. Here are the points. If you see drivers marked in green, their number, those are the ones that are locked in. The ones in yellow are the ones that are not quite locked in just yet, but are in the points running to be able to make it into the chase. And of course, the ones in red are the ones that are still within reasonable shot to try to get themselves in. That goes all the way back to 21st position, 36 points out. JC Rasmus. Any driver that does not have any color onto their number are just simply out here for fun, essentially, because they will have no shot to make it in on points. Now, one thing to remember, 14 spots are opened up, but do understand the last 2 positions, 13th and 14th, are reserved in case if a driver has a win outside of the top 14 in points. One of those so happens to be Ray Brixi. So technically, all those other drivers are racing to now get into the top 13 positions due to those being opened up for points-paying positions. So Ray Brixi technically has that locked up. He just needs to make sure he starts for the next few races. We're going to go ahead and give it over to David here. He's going to give us our qualifying for before we get going, and then I'll bring in Harrison.
Once I fix the usual glitch of switching sessions, there we go. All right, on the pole, Ethan Burrell, then Mark Murphy, Scott Crump, Tate Lytle, Matthew Weeks, Leighton Norgard, Daniel Martinez, Sean Ryan, Trey Holmes, Alex Van de Zandt, Chad Frankenfield, Ethan Stanley, Corey Abbott, Trevor Elam, Dustin Durr, Michael Hosack, Drake Berry, Jesse Rasmus, Josh Freed, Brent Jones, Wesley Crump, Robert Hill, Tyler Dixon, Tyler Fody, 24th, Mark Rebelis, Ray Bracey, Adam Newbert, Sam Batwell, 29 Jaden Rasmus, Andrew Hardcastle, Jeff Sickles, Alexander Gray, Cody Harrington, Cody McCorkle, and rounding out the field is Josh Arnold. I believe that's the last one. Yes, it is. That's our field for tonight.
Excellent. As I was saying, Harrison Taillon is in with me. You saw there's a lot of drivers in red that are still looking to try to get themselves into that top 14, top 13 positioning there. If you're a driver, say like back there, just to give an idea, I believe that was Brent Jones. There we go. Brent Jones, one of those drivers that just in right now on points, and surrounded around you is a sea of red, essentially, based off our color coding. A sea of red of drivers that are hungry, trying to get themselves into this playoff system. It's this race, and then we go to Atlanta, which is going to be kind of like a Talladega, Daytona kind of a deal, where it's all up in the air. If you're one of those drivers like Brent Jones, what's your goal coming into today's event?
Well, I mean, really just stack up as many points as you possibly can. Keep the truck clean, because this track is really aero dominant, long straightaways, and if you really touch the wall, get any form of damage on that right side or any type of contact from any other truck, it could really hinder your performance down the straightaways, which is extremely crucial here. It's your main source of speed is down these straightaways. So these trucks are underpowered as it is, and if you get even just enough little bit of damage on a quarter panel or even a scratch on the right side, maybe it could affect the truck. affect the truck's straight line speed. So, I mean, you got to be wary of that. Got to be wary about all the drivers around you because, I mean, there was a lot of red that was around Brent Jones. And, you know, there's about like 4 or 5 drivers behind the cutoff that are at least just only like 20 points behind. So they're all only separated by 20 points. So it's really going to make for some interesting action in it.
Absolutely. Turn 1 here is going to be key. We're coming around turn 3 and going to be going green this time. Keep an eye on turn 1. Turn 1 in many of different events here in Elite always tends to be the trouble area as drivers tend to go 3 to 4 wide down the front straightaway. Pace car will be off. We're going to be going green with 2 races left in this regular season where the racing gets good and the good gets racing. Green flag is out at the tricky triangle, and it looks like Ethan Burrell got a really good start right there off the bat. Looks like going to be 2 wide, 3 wide, as it looks like Matthew Weeks is going to try to make a good run to try to see if he can battle going into turn 1. So far, it looks like it's clean and clear. A lot of 3 wide battling going on in the back of the pack here. So far, so good as drivers are finding their spacing and going down this second pack, or first pack straightaway. It's actually 4 wide back there as they're trying to straighten out. But yeah, right now Ethan Burrell able to stay out front. Matthew Weeks up to second. Crump going to back into third, and Murphy looking to try to get himself into the playoffs here in fourth. As you see drivers starting to single file out, that tends to happen after the first 2 laps. If you're going to make passes, it's going to need to be done early on here as they complete lap 1 here at Pocono.
Yeah, I mean, you saw right there, you saw the battle between Daniel Martinez, Trey Holmes, and Chad Frankenfield. You saw how Trey was able to dive it right there on the outside there of the 33. Basically pinch him down enough to where, you know, the 33 of Dan had to get out of the throttle, couldn't get a good exit like the 88 did, and he was able to sail past by him. And you know, exits on these corners, setting up your straightaways is absolutely crucial. Just as I mentioned earlier about your straightaway speed, you want to have great exits to these straightaways to get the best possible, you know, to maximize the amount of horsepower and speed that you can gain down the straightaway each time. So backing off early, you know, kind of rolling it out through the center, getting back on the gas when you feel that it's all, you know, turned up and ready to go. And you see Trey Holmes, he's battling for 5th here with Mark Murphy. Daniel Martinez, his teammate, might give him a quick push here. He did.
Yeah, you can see the benefit of just having a little bit of help in the draft allows the 88 to be able to send it on to down into turn 1. Able to clear the 69, going to now jump up in front of him. 69 may have a run to take the battle. 88 going to take a defensive move there down the back straightaway. Takes a little bit lower, allows his teammate to actually get the draft. Now he's going to go down there just to allow his teammate Daniel Martinez have the draft as they go into turn 2. Very tight turn. It's hard enough going 2 wide there. Single wide there, but 2 wide they went. Looks like that's going to open up Frankenfield to actually pass the 69 as well. So the 69 early on here starting to drop back. But again, as you were saying there, Harrison, there's going to be comers and goers just based off of who's able to save their stuff, because it's so easy to throw it into these turns just because of how wide they are, especially turn 1 here. As you see them go into it, it's so wide, and there's different options to take it in there. But you just got to be careful you don't throw it in too much, too hard, too early, just for the mere fact that that's going to burn up your tires pretty quickly. So we're going to definitely see some comers and goers here. I think really what it comes down to is going to be who's able to not burn up their stuff and not lose positions on restarts. As you see here, last week's winner, Tate Lytle, taking over 3rd place over Scott Crump, just out here to get some wins. He came home the big winner last week and took home some money. This week he's just out here for fun, but that's going to set up a 1-2-3 right now for Pro Edge out front here early on.
Yeah, you mentioned turn 1 there just a minute ago, and not sending it in too hard. There's also a fairly large bump. It's not really, you know, visible to the naked eye, but when you're in that truck, you definitely feel when you go over. It shoots you straight up across the racetrack. It absolutely destroys any form of corner you had for that turn. So Being wary of that, being being on the lower side of that bump, it's kind of like in the middle lane-ish, is where it's the most of that that little bump there is. But yeah, it can really upset the truck if you go right over it, hit it just right. It can shoot the truck right up the track, lose a ton of momentum because you don't want to hit the wall. And yeah, a lot of time lost from that. So careful with all that over there in turn one.
Side-by-side battle going down the straightaway. It looks like the 69 may lose another spot to Trevor Taillon. That's a battle for a good position. As you were stating, I mean, this track has a bump you'll see on board here. Right there, a little bit of a bump right there going into turn one. And it looks like the preferred route is going right down the yellow line, but you can wrap around the high side fairly well, just like the 69. You can make someone's life very difficult on passing because these long straightaways, if you can be able to get the momentum on your side, it prevents drivers really being able to make quick movements on you and quick passes. As looks like the 29 may have better entry speed, but the 69 having that little bit higher exit makes it very difficult for him to be able to produce anything as far as being able to complete passes here. This is setting up to be pretty much a prime example of how a Pocono race usually goes. You can get past turn one on the initial start of these races. It usually will go green for quite a while. As it starts to space out, you'll start seeing the ticker really showing some time difference between the leaders and the rest of the pack. As with these 3 turns per lap and how big of a track this is, it can really start to space out the field. Once you get past lap 10, lap 15, you'll start seeing the leaders really start to take a big advantage of that arrow of clean air, really start to put some distance on themselves on the rest of the field. So if you can get past lap 1, it usually sets up a long green flag run. So it's going to be interesting to see who's had a better practice on these longer green flag runs on older tires. As you see right here, a battle, one of those drivers in those key playoffs positions, Brent Jones, we spoke of earlier there, and looks like the 70 there of Jesse Rasmus, another one of those drivers looking to try to see if they can get themselves in.
Yeah, this is all important, and Brent Jones doing a good job early in this race. P15, fighting to stay in P15 from Jesse Rasmus. Jesse's just going to clear him here off turn 1, but it's still early in the race. He could just be saving his tires up and make it go for a late push here towards the end of a run. Tyler Foda, we all expect him to make his way through the field. Bad qualifying performance out of him. Yeah, we should definitely see him up front towards the end of the race, no doubt.
Yeah, you're seeing here Chad Brinkfield, he was stalking behind Daniel Martinez in 33 for a little while. Finally able to get the pass made and clear. I'm going down the front straightaway now. 33 Optimus just go about pushing the 15 along down the front straightaway. That puts Chad into that 6th position from his 11th starting position. So we're already seeing some drivers really starting to make up some spots on the field. Right behind them, Trevor Elam up to 8th now. And further back there, as you stated, back in the looks like the 13th position, Robert Hill Jr. 22nd starting position, up to 13. So a lot of drivers really starting to make some moves now going through the field.
Big battles. See Robert Hill right here. He's one of those drivers who's only a few points out of the cutoff for the playoffs here. Yeah, doing a pretty good job here, running 13th. The Canadian. He's put in a lot of work so far this season to improve his tires saving ability, and he said he's been having a lot of trouble over the start of the season with saving tires, keeping them in temperature range and making them last long throughout a run. And he's been working at it for a long time this season. It's paying off these last few races with some really good performances.
Yeah, these are some great views here, just showing them all these trucks really being able to just not, if they're side by side, they lose so much time. So you don't want to be side by side if you can help and try to complete the pass as quickly as possible. As you see the 70 and the 40 able to do that right there I believe that was over on Ethan Stanley there in the 91, as it looks like Brent Jones starting to look to try to see if he can battle. Looks like we have a whiskey cast replay here.
That looks great.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there to the 81.
He's saying in driver chat his screen turned off.
Alexander Gray might have had his steering wheel shut off on him, but that's not gonna help his chances for a good finish tonight, as he will be out of the race early on there. So Alexander Gray, first one out for tonight's event. We're already 11 laps in. What do we got down here, David, for our stages for tonight?
Oh, let's see here. 60 lap stage points at the end of lap 20. Resets timer.
So lap 20, over halfway through this stage already, as it's going by quickly under these green flag runs. Looking to get into a top 10 position as a few of these drivers on the bubble. Murphy trying to stay in that 5th position, and Elam up to 8th is trying to gain some points. All these are points to help them try to work their way into the top 14 in points, top 13 if you count Ray Bracey's win. But right now it looks like 2 drivers so far are looking to try to see if they can score themselves some extra points going towards their playoff run. Battle here, 05 and 12. Wow. Ooh, a little sideways though by there.
Really loose there, yeah, from that 05. His rear tires are screaming there. We see Tyler Cody to his outside, see if he drives it in on the door of Robert Hill, squeeze him down, get a run off the corner to clear himself. He will. Robert come under attack here, he will. I can't see the car next to him.
Yeah, Cody was able to make the pass.
Oh, it's Jesse.
Like the 70. Jesse Rasmus also trying to get that outside run, coming through 3 onto the front straightaway now. So yeah, keep an eye on that 40 vehicle. We had stated earlier on there, Fody in that 40 truck is not one to stay far back for too long from the 24th start position. Ooh, 70 got in there a little bit hotter than he had. But finishing here on lap 13, we still have 7 more laps to go in the stage. And we look like having a really good battle up there for the lead there, as looks like Frankenfield able to get to 5th, as it's still 3 drivers up front within shouting distance of the lead. It looks like Matthew Weeks starting to look underneath our leader here of Ethan Burrell into turn 3. It's going to come down to who his teammate decides to push. No, Matthew Weeks decides to cut his teammate off a little bit. Looks like Tate Lytle will give Matthew Weeks quite a bit of a shove. We'll see if he makes any use of it down the straightaway. Here he is. He's going to be able to go side by side for the lead into turn 1. We'll see if Ethan Burrell is able to wrap around the outside to keep his momentum up. Ooh. No, Matthew Weeks able to clear himself, and it looks like he may end up having Tate Lytle follow him. Oh, so close between teammates there, between the 56 and the 37. Almost hooked him there. That's how close they were. Now 37 will be on the backside of Matthew Weeks, so our first lead change here on lap 14, as Matthew Weeks ends up finding himself now out front of this event with 6 laps to go in this first stage.
Yeah, I mean, what a job by the 2 teammates against their actual team owner, Ethan Burrell, working together to get past him, and it brought Scott Crump here up into the mix as well. So all top 4 covered in a blanket by half a second, and this draft, you can see it working so well down the straightaways, the way they could just gain on each other. And yeah, that last lap you saw in turn 1, Ethan had to just lift out of the throttle a little bit. You could see his truck rattle from that bump when he was on the outside. That allowed Matthew Weeks to just sail past him through the center of the corner and off exit. But yeah, great battle so far. We got coming to 5 to go in the stage, so a lot more battling to take shape for some points here for a lot of drivers.
Yeah, it's actually been staying fairly close up to the front here. I would have thought, I had said earlier, that the leaders would have started to space themselves out, but it looks like the drafting of these trucks are keeping these trucks fairly close together here, as again, the top 4 drivers are within a second Crump starting to work his way back up there as well as he tries to see if he can battle up there with Tate Lytle. And Tate Lytle still behind his other teammate there, Ethan Burrell. So we have 4 laps to go to decide it with 4 drivers within a half of a second. All within this shot right here, battling it out. As Frankenfield looks to try to see if he can gain up there as well in 5th. But yeah, great battling up here earlier on in this race. You see an onboard shot, Tate Lytle going through turn 2, definitely one of the more difficult turns of the 3. And then they'll come to this long sweeping turn. Usually you want to stay down on the bottom, let off the gas early on, drift it down, get the gas as soon as you can, because you're going to be coming to the longest straightaway on the NASCAR course, and that's when you're going to want to have the advantage of being able to get on the gas earlier than your competitors, as that will help you all the way down this long straightaway, going into this very wide turn number 1. You see right behind, a couple different ways you can enter it in there. Some enter it a little earlier, some decide to stay a little bit out further, because then you come to the shorter turn here, or shorter straightaway, and very quickly you'll be back into turn 2 where it's very difficult to make any kind of passes made. This will be the slowest part of the turn right here, because you have to get on the brakes so hard to be able to make this tight turn. So very good battling here between these 3 drivers, all evenly matched, 4 drivers, including Scott Crump. So this is setting up to be a very good battle once we get past stage 1 and we get to that longer 40-lap run to see who really has it in their pocket for the rest of the event. Looks like some strategy being made.
Chad.
Looks like Chad Frankenfield coming down early. Why, you would ask, he would go about doing that? I didn't know anyone would, depending on how tires were, but the reason why Chad Frankenfield's pitting now, this is the last lap you could be able to come down pit road. Chad Frankenfield's going to come down, get his set of tires and fuel early on, so that way when the stage ends, he's going to take the lead when everyone else decides to come down pit road. But he's got to make sure not to burn his tires up for the next 2 laps, just for the mere fact that, I don't know how much of an advantage that's going to be. As you see, actually here, a good battle for 3rd. Starting to shape up with Crump trying to look to the inside of Tate Lytle. Going back to what I was saying, it looks like Chad Frankenfield will stay on the lead lap, and that's why he'll benefit doing this strategy at a track like this rather than a track that may be shorter, because he won't go a lap down once the caution comes out. That's why that'll play out to his advantage once that all works out.
Yeah, you said it best. Yeah, Chad playing some real good strategy here. He's just gonna have to take it easy these 2 laps to finish off the stage, or 3 laps probably for him, 2 laps for these leaders. You could just see him actually up there in the distance, just entering turn 2. And yeah, take it easy on these tires. Don't take all the good off of them in these 2 laps, because then you'll have absolutely nothing to defend or race with off this restart. And yeah, so this is his bid at a chance for taking the win. He's thinking, I'm not sure if I can get up there on raw pace at the moment. Maybe I'll try a little strategy call, get myself the track position, and see what I can do from up front.
Yeah, I think he was the only one really playing that out. Maybe there's a few others once we figure everything out, but here they'll be coming down to 1 lap to go in this stage, as it still is 3 Pro Edge drivers out front, all right on the back bumper of each other. So it'll be interesting to see. Tate Lytle really has nothing to gain or benefit other than track position over his 2 teammates, but his 2 teammates in front of him are still battling out for points, one to lock themselves in tonight. So it'll be interesting to see if Ethan Burrell will make any move on his teammate. Yes, going into turn 2, very tight turn, side by side, 37 and the 11. It's going to slow them both up very much coming out of it, as that's going to allow the 90 truck to try to see if he can battle with Tate Lytle. Tate Lytle trying to put a block there. Whoa, so close. As it looks like Crump is still going to be side by side. It looks like it will be all Matthew Weeks, though, as here they come down the straightaway to take the win in stage 1. Scott Crump not able to get to 4th place, but this is what the top 10 will look like at the end of this stage. Matthew Weeks able to come home with the stage 1 victor, as his teammate and pole Ethan Burrell will be finishing second. Tate Lytle ends up finishing in third. Scott Crump fourth. Trevor Elam, really good points going to his benefit, going and finishing in fifth. Holmes there is going to be our sixth place driver, Trey Holmes, and it looks like Daniel Martinez will be seventh. Alex Vandersant, who is already locked in eighth, and it looks like our second place qualifier finds himself back there in ninth position of Mark Murphy, and Sean Ryan also is going to be our final stage point winner. So he'll get 1 point to go towards his playoff run here as well. That was a very interesting. It's got me very excited, Harrison, to see how this plays out, because there was 4 drivers and they were not leaving. There was no gap, but they were on top of each other there at the end of that stage. That's got me excited to see how the next 40 laps will play out.
Yeah, they were all on top of each other, all evenly matched. Scott Crump came on strong there at the end to get up there, battle for P3. Didn't quite get it, but we all really know Scott Crump to be a long run type driver. So it's not too much of a surprise to see him, coming to life there towards the end of a run. But yeah, great racing. They did not spread out as much as we all thought, or as much as we thought, and due to the draft keeping everybody close together, just a whole train around the track, following the leader basically, and making your moves when possible, getting the runs when you see fit, and making your way through the pack. But great racing so far. Can't wait for the second stage to start.
And now we're really going to see who played that strategy. I know Chad Brinkfield had, but I also see Dustin Durr back there as well. Interested to see if Dustin also came down pit road early to be able to get himself track position. So we'll see if how this plays out with drivers as they are starting to come down pit road now. A whole host of vehicles coming down pit road.
Looking like absolutely everybody.
Yeah.
Except
Robert Hill, stay out.
And Robert Hill, yeah.
Yeah, I see Robert Hill, and I see Dustin Dewar also staying out.
Oh, Scott Crump!
Oh, Scott Crump around. Gets a little bit of contact with the wall. That is unfortunate for Scott Crump. Kind of how his year's been going. He's been really strong, but a lot of bad luck has been playing havoc with his season hopes. That's probably going to put him all the way back in the field there, because he just now started to get fuel and tires. So he's going to go from being in fourth position all the way back further. So his hopes of trying to get the win are going to be a lot harder. Luckily for him, he was able to get some stage points to his name. So at least he's going to have some benefit from his strong run early on. But unfortunately for him, he's going to be really far back there now.
4th to 28th. Scott Crump might have seemed like when I was watching him, when he was entering his pit box. He spun around so suddenly. I'm not sure if there was contact. It seemed like everybody around them was in their pit stalls. So
was it like a Mark Truex maneuver there? Someone got into the back of him?
Maybe. There might have been some slight contact that we just couldn't see from the camera angle that we had there. But I could also suspect he just locked up the rear brakes and it just spun around, which is really it's not that common to do in these trucks. So it's odd.
We're gonna get an idea of what happened to him. We may need to go a little farther back.
Yeah, it keeps tagging that he entered the pits, left the pits, entered the pits, left the pits.
We can't really see what happened, but regardless, the facts of the matter are set. We're going to go ahead and give it over to Dave to do our sponsor shout-outs. And then looks like they're already lining up to go green, so we'll give Dave here a short amount of time to go over everything.
We'll just do this series sponsor real quick. Smokin Gobbler Barbecue, Abingdon, Virginia's finest smoked barbecue. Let the Smokin Gobbler help out with your next large group gathering and party.
Oh, you got time. Go if you want to do a couple more there, David. We got a little bit of time. They're only entering the first pack straight away.
Hey, we can do the team.
And of course, we always like to thank our sponsors for allowing us to be able to put on broadcasts like this and allow us to be able to showcase these trucks in their true form. As we're going to be going back green once again to set up a 36 lap run to the end of this. Looks like 2 drivers did stay out there with older tires, only a couple lap older tires. Chad Frankenfield and Dustin Brewer there. Dustin Brewer definitely helping his chances if he can stay up there. We're trying to get into the playoffs, as he's one of those drivers just out right now. So Dustin Brewer trying to play strategy to his benefit to see if he can be able to sneak away with some points. But again, turn 1 is going to be the most difficult part of the racetrack on these restarts. As the green flag is back out, Chad Frankenfield gets a very good run. We're going to see if there's 3 wide. Ooh, 37 jumped right in front of his teammate. Looks like Pro Edge is going to try to swing wide around Dustin Brewer there as they get into turn 1. Dustin Brewer threw it in there. It's 3 wide behind him. Ooh, a little shake of Tate Lytle. That's going to have Trevor Elon battling, trying to see if he can be able to capitalize on the 56 having some issues. But it looks like the 88 there is going to help push this 56 by and clear himself for that 4th position.
Contact.
Oh, contact.
Yeah, a little bit of contact between Martinez and Cody there. Martinez is going to lose about 4 or 5 position from that tri-oval part. Still side by side. 3 wide. More contact.
Oh no!
Around goes the 33 in front of the field. It doesn't look like anyone else is collected, but made hard contact with the outside wall in turn 3.
Unfortunate. Yeah, initial contact there, turn 2, 3 wide action, just a little bit of the side, a little bit of a door bang from Fody. Got the 33 up out of shape, and couldn't. I don't know if he got ran into the back of in turn 3, and he almost got clocked again when he was sitting up high. So that was a close call as well.
Yeah, this all started back when him and Fody got together, pushed him up wide, and it just sent him back further and further in the field. And finally, it got him sent all the way around as he will find himself all the way in the back of the field there. But good job by all the other drivers able to get past, even the 56. Wow. Yeah, it was a lot closer than what I remembered. That was very close there by, looks like the 96 there, Mark Reblis, as he was able to just turn down to be able to get by there, the 33. He just wanted to make the highlight real.
Wanted to give us a little nice onboard action for that shot.
Well, that will send Daniel Martinez all the way back to the 34th spot. So, unfortunate for Daniel, as he will have a lot of front end damage also. So, be difficult to see him be able to get back up towards the front. But as we stated, the restarts were going to be an issue. Once they get past the first lap, it tends to clear up. But Chad Frankenfield will still be leading this event. He has 2 lap older tires, so it'll be interesting to see how big of a difference 2 laps is on these tires. Luckily for us, Pocono doesn't make them do about 4 or 5 laps around under caution. So it looks like maybe next time around we'll be able to start getting them double lined up and then be able to get going very shortly. But that does give it back over to David. Is there any other sponsor shout-outs that you had?
Yeah, we got Blue Egg Marketing. Blue Egg Marketing is the marketing department for small businesses. We are your marketing department. For Blue Egg Marketing and small business owners, Blue Egg is your biggest fan. That's all of our sponsors.
And we'd like to thank
Sick with it, Motorsports.
Sick with it. Stick With It Motorsports for sponsoring today's event as well.
Well, Gerald, what is Sick With It Motorsport?
Well, I've been sick for the last couple of days with congestion and head cold and everything. So maybe it's something to do with my head cold. I don't know. Chad never really gave us, unfortunately, the whole go around with what was Sick With It. But I do like their logo, and they do give a tongue twister, which I'm very good at tongue twisters. Not to be able to go about broadcasting out to everyone. But I do like the abbreviation there, SWIM. That's very cool. Little logo that they got going on for them. So maybe you can at home be able to Google what Sick With It Motorsports is. Looks like this time around they should be starting to line them up side by side. It is a cruise cone situation for today's event, so drivers are allowed to able to pick inside or outside. Looks like Chad Frankenfield may end up opting to choose the inside this time around. So Chad Frankenfield will have the inside lane. Matthew Weeks will decide to take the outside lane. So be interesting to see if the inside lane is a better choice for Chad. But looks like he'll have Ethan Burrell right behind him as well. So far, Dustin Dewar has only dropped back to the third position, deciding to take the outside lane this time around. So didn't look like Dewar lost too many positions on that. So far his strategy seems to be working out fairly well. I'm not certain if they're going to need a pit one more time, but it's fairly close, I would have to say, on fuel and tires.
Yeah, I'll be in agreement with you there. I think it is going to be pretty close. I think this caution does help a lot. I saw Trey Holmes come on pit road from. He was running well inside the top 10. He's been inside the top 10 all night. So he came into pit road. No damage that I saw when he did. Just a quick change of 4 tires and fuel. So maybe he just is thinking that these guys can't make it still, and that little splash top off, maybe some tires there if he did, could be the difference if this does go green. So that'll be interesting to see.
We have seen fuel runs play a factor in these Pocono events, so it would not be surprising if that is the case. But there they come around turn number 3, and they will be going green flag once again. What's the widest view that we have for the audience to see, David?
Well, let's see. We might have Blimp, maybe?
Yeah, Blimp might be pretty good. Is that Blimp?
That's Blimp.
There we go. That's Blimp. Let's see how it goes on for turn number 1, as this will be an interesting restart here. Chad Frankenfield able to get out to a very decent lead there, with Matthew Weeks getting a bump from Dustin Dewar. 3 wide already starting to shape up going into turn 1. It looks like the 97 underneath Fody, as you got to be careful you don't end up sliding up. This is always the most intense part of the racing, as the restarts here go 3 to 4 wide. As here they go 3 wide down this back straightaway. They're going to want to get that figured out because they get very tight here going into turn 2. It's hard enough going in there by yourself. 3 wide is just not an option. You see, they do get out to at least 2 wide as 29 makes a really good pass there. Trevor Elon to get himself into the 4th place position. Now looking to see if he can battle up there with Ethan Burrell.
Yeah, restarts. This track is insane with restarts. 3-4 wide right away as soon as they cross the line.
Contact car around down the front straightaway into the inside wall. I saw a car or 2 trucks make contact and it end up sending one around down the front straightaway. Luckily, not a lot involved, but did do heavy damage. I think that's to the 4 of Adam Newbert there.
Oh no, it's our sponsor's truck.
Yeah, you see it. The swim truck turned around, hits the inside wall pretty hard. That was with him trying to avoid the carnage that was starting to shape up in front of him. It looked like a truck hit the outside wall pretty hard coming out of turn 3, and he was trying to avoid it and end up losing it. And you see there, ton of damage onto the side of the Ford truck. And that will be very difficult to be able to get around here for the rest of the event.
Super unfortunate. Product of really close quarter racing off of a restart, and everybody's just trying to get as many positions as they can, and stuff like that happens, unfortunately, and ruins the night of the 4.
Yeah, and in his own race, he was sponsoring too. That ended up happening. So unfortunate there for Adam. As we stated, once they get past the first lap, it usually goes green, but that's an easier thing, easier said than done here, is it's just so difficult with how aggressive you have to be to make these maneuvers work. And that kind of is what Chad Frankenfield was probably hoping as he continues to lead this event, even with a couple lap older tires. I would have to believe now after a few restarts, that's just about evened out as these restarts, as soon as they get caught up to them, the cautions come out. So I would believe this was thrust right into Chad Frankenfield's strategy as he continues to lead here as we get to the halfway point.
Gerald, I do have some information that's come in from the chat on the on YouTube. We have some information about Sick Wit Motorsports. Sick Wit Motorsports, owned by Jeff Sickles, which is where the sick part comes from. It's an iRacing league and team in multiple leagues, and it's on the truck, as we know, of the number 4 Adam Newbert, who we just saw, and the number 78 of Jeff Sickles, both in the race.
Yep, Jeff Sickles right now in 28th position right there. Still within it, still looks like he has a clean vehicle underneath him. So they still have one driver with a shot at this, as they may end up needing to put some panels on before the end of the night on their other driver. But they'll have some more chances. It looks like their new team joining up with us, trying to see if they can put their name into the Elite Series. Luckily for them, they're going to be going next week to a lot easier track, as well as some of these other drivers. Maybe not for if you were points racing, but if you're one of these other drivers with nothing really to lose, we will be going next week to Atlanta. That would be the new Atlanta, which everyone knows is completely different than the old Atlanta. It's practically a super speedway where there will be pack racing, full throttle, drafting involved, and a lot of entertainment for us at home to be able to enjoy and watch. But if you're points racing, maybe not so much, as that's a lot of anxiety to come from it, because there will be a lot of things that are going to be outside of their control when you enter that type of racing. But it's how the setup or the schedule went, and that's how we have it set up. That will be November 6th. That will be a Sunday night event just like this. Actually, that's 2 weeks from now, isn't that, David?
Yes.
So you don't have to miss your Halloween parties
Nope.
or anything. That would be the following year. That'll give these drivers a little bit more anxiety to think
Be on
about.
a sugar high that night.
That's true. Sugar high. Maybe it's better if we don't get drivers on sugar high in super speedway racing.
But we do have a little strategy going here. Matthew Weeks and Tate Lytle and several cars, Sean Ryan, Leighton Norgard, Alexander Van Zandt, about 19th on back, decided to pit.
That would lead me to believe, Harrison, that is probably because of fuel more than anything. That they believe now that they're at the point where if they go green from here on out, which is a high probability of happening if they get past lap 1, that fuel might play a strategy effect into this. That those drivers feel like hitting on that lap allowed them to be able to make it to the end.
Yeah, you see Trey Holmes. He got with all those trucks pitting, he got promoted up to 10th there for just a second. On this choose cone rule, looks like he'll be up on the inside, but yeah, he pitted under the last caution, and for some fuel and some tires, I would assume. And yeah, you can see him actually down there. He's going onto the apron, trying to save everything he can.
He is saving hard right now, going down onto the apron. Yeah, because that really only put Tate Lytle back there, in 20th position, so he didn't go back all too far. He's still only in 20th, there's still a total of, I believe, 34 trucks on the lead lap, so over 14 drivers went down pit road that time around to get fuel. So, interesting move. There's a lot of strategy being played. I think Chad Frankenfield and some of these drivers up front feel like the cautions are not done coming out. They feel a lot better being out front rather further back in the field, and that's probably where their mindset is at for this restart. Just stay out front, get about maybe 10 laps in, and then a caution comes out, and you're set up for coming down pit road and still being out front to boot. So a lot of interesting strategy, and all comes down to how does it all play out, and that's what we're going to get to see here. Is we'll have a total of 27 laps remaining in this event. So Chad Frankenfield will now restart on the outside with Dustin Dewar right behind him. Underneath them will be Ethan Burrell, one of our strong runners earlier on in the event. And the green flag will be back out now. Green flag is out, and Chad Frankenfield once again gets out to about a 2 or 3 truck length lead going down the front straightaway. Oh, real good battling going on further back. 3 wide, 4 wide it looked like for a second there. As this will get interesting further on in the field. Oh, Tate Lytle. Oh, there's a spin right in front. Tate Lytle involved. Huge wreck. Ray Bracey involved. That is exactly why some of those drivers decided to stay out. It looks like the 66 overcorrected with the driver underneath and went up high, hit the 70 or the 96, and then there goes around the 12. Ray Bracey, 24 of Michael Hozak there involved.
Super unfortunate for Tate Lytle.
Yeah, Tate Lytle, that is exactly what you fear when you end up falling back that far in the field with strategies. You end up putting yourself right into a bad position. Other drivers with really bad luck in that was the 69, who was Mark Murphy, who was having a fantastic run today. You saw him in the top 10 for a lot of today's event. This will end up with him a blown engine as well. See the puff of smoke come out of the...
Oh, no, Ray.
Yeah, Ray Bracey involved as well. Looks like Ray Bracey might be done for the night event as well. So a lot of drivers with some heavy damage and are out of today's event. 12, 56, 69, 70. Michael Hozak might be able to continue on in the 24, but yeah, a lot of drivers that were either just in or on the cutoff area involved in that wreck there.
Cautions breed cautions. So, yeah, these last couple cautions, they've all been happening right off the restart on the lap after the restart, and it's really what happens when you get down to the nitty gritty towards the end of the race. I mean, we did just get past halfway, but I mean, that's only 30 laps is our halfway point, so that's still not that much time left. So yeah, but really unfortunate for a lot of these drivers who were putting together some really good runs. A few of them in particular, especially Tate Lytle, who's running up front the entire night. Went back into the pack, middle of the pack, and that's where the whole hornet's nest is. So sometimes it's really the luck of the draw where you end up, and unfortunately he ended up in that position after he made that strategy call, and he's going to come out with a lot of damage in a wrecked race truck.
Show us the points again there, David, coming into tonight's event. I'm just interested to see where some of those drivers... So, yeah, I mean, Ray Bracey's technically in still with a point. But, yeah, like the 69 Mark Murphy, he was not far out. He was only 15 points. And he was having a really strong run, getting some stage points and everything. That's going to really, really, really hurt him. Another driver that was just in on points was, it looks like Norgard was, where was Norgard? 25 points above the cutoff in ninth. Now with him finishing essentially 34th position, he is going to end up being placed in a very, very unwanted spot when he goes into Atlanta next week, because he's going to lose, I would say, a good points amount from that as well. So unfortunate for some of those drivers that were just on the edge, like those drivers right there. They're going to be further on back because Robert Hill, we stated, having a really good run, doing really well here. He looks to gain some points, so he is right now in 11th position. So a lot of those drivers right there on the edge. Again, this is the second to the last event. Next week will be the last, or 2 weeks from now will be the last race of the regular season. So a lot of these drivers are going to be going back over these points at the end of this event and kind of just figuring what ifs, if they could have avoided a wreck or two or had at least a somewhat decent finish, where would they be at before that run in Atlanta? Now, don't forget that just because you are technically maybe too far out on points doesn't necessarily mean that you are out. If you are in the red at this point, if you get a win in either one of these races, there's a good shot that you get in because of that win. Just like we stated with Ray Bracey, all you have to be is in the top 25 in points. If you have a win, the final 2 spots are decided with those drivers with wins, if there is a winner to be able to take one of those spots. So Ray Bracey is taking that 14th spot right now as it stands. But if, like, say, a Dustin Dewar or a Trevor Elam or even a Rasmus goes out today and wins, that's going to also put that playoff spot a little higher up in the standings. So there's a lot to have to play out before the end of this, not only this race, but before the regular season.
These are some really big races. Atlanta, you talked about, big crapshoot there. I mean, anybody could really win at that racetrack if you put yourself in position towards the end. Yeah, I mean, it's just a smaller Daytona, Talladega now, so it's that one's going to be extremely exciting to see play out.
Well, we're about to find out if we can get past lap 1, as green flag will be back underway. Looks like Chad Briggs will be able to get out to another decent start, able to get himself clear. May get Dustin Dewar there cleared as well. So far, he's right on the edge to clear himself. Yes, he does. He does clear himself going into turn 1, but it looks like 37 there. He's going to try to see if he can wrap around the outside, see if he can be able to gain that momentum to his advantage. Not able to get the second position, but at least to be able to keep himself into third. As again, the battle on further back is very intense with 3 wide racing.
What a job by Dustin Dewar so far. He's staying up here in second. He's had the benefit of a couple cautions.
Oh, big wreck! Could have been a lot bigger wreck than it actually was. But wow, there was multiple wrecks that should have happened. But ultimately, the 82 got hit there by, it looks like it was that Fody. And then the 89 got hit and sent, but finally the 01 was the one that finally caused the caution. There were so many incidents going on. I thought there was going to be a bigger wreck than that.
Yeah, that should have been that. I mean, they all escaped from a lot of trucks being caught up in that. Look, that one. I mean, I see 1, 2 in that shot. I mean, Fody probably.
These are all drivers that did it and are trying to work their way up quickly through there. Matthew Weeks is one of them. Cody is one of them. Trying to get past those drivers that they hadn't had to race with. Trying to work their way up quickly to get back up to the front. And all they ended up doing was causing another caution to Chad Brinkman's benefit.
At least 4 trucks were sideways throughout that, and only one of them spun.
Yeah, I was like, I said big wreck because, in all intents and purposes, there should have been a big wreck there. You see, I mean, look at Brent Jones on the apron. Incredible save by Brent Jones. He could have hooked it back up and caused a big wreck there. And even there, the 39 does a good job not coming back up into anybody. Misses barely the 78 there. Our race sponsor, as he able to get back around past the 39. But yeah, there should have been about 3 or 4 wrecks going into there, and to just have one driver go around really is very thankful for them. As you see, our race sponsor there, the 78, he sees it all happening in front of him, does a really good job of checking up, decides to take the outside lane, which if he was maybe about 2 truck lengths back further, that would have been a bad decision, but he was in the right spot at the right time for him to be able to get past that without getting involved.
Yeah, almost 20 laps to go, just about. Dustin Dewar sitting in second. Like I said, he's been doing a very stellar, very great job just to stay up there with Chad. These two stayed out after the first stage and have stayed up there ever since.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like much. Oh, they stayed out. That's been now 19 laps ago that they stayed out, and they're still out front. And neither one were technically what I would say the race-winning pace. But both of Frankenfield and Dustin Dewar there are still out front of this event, and it's all due to, the cautions really happening after the lap one, and that's keeping them in contention here. And I have to wonder, they're running these things under caution. I would have to believe Trey Holmes is now good on fuel to be able to make it. So even his strategy to come in a little earlier or a little bit earlier than what maybe he would have made it if they went green flag, he knows he's good. So I would say from right around the 8th position on back, should be fairly comfortable of making it on fuel. But with all these cautions, even some of these drivers up front here, if they're saving, I mean, they haven't had to really run green flag for very much. And around here, you can save a lot of fuel.
Yeah, you can, absolutely. I mean, this track is pretty fair. I mean, it's fairly flat as it is, just except for the corners. They have a few degrees of banking, but nothing past, maybe even 12, 13 degrees. So turn three is probably the hardest spot to save because there's no true apron unless you want to go all the way down on the access road, which, I mean, that seems a little much, but there's an apron in turn 2 and in turn 1, so you could obviously go down there, save some more fuel, but it's all about keeping up momentum with the car and truck in front of you, and not losing the back of them, and also make sure you don't stall either when you try to turn the truck back on. I've done that a few times when I started out on iRacing, doing some fuel save and stuff like that, and you learn pretty quick, but yeah, it's still annoying when it happens.
You see Chad Brakefield. I'm not sure what lane he's chosen. I think he's chosen both, the inside and the outside. So I'm interested to try to see if he got the inside or the outside for the restart here. So they're all lined up except for the front row.
I think, yeah. I think he did choose the outside. I think he and Dewar are working together on these restarts because of how well they got going on the last one. I mean, it seemed like that. I mean, Dewar was, he was obviously right on Chad, right as he went. So, I mean, I would assume that they both have communication with each other off of these restarts, telling them, hey, Dewar, I'm going at this point here, or start pushing me at when I say 1 or something like that. So, yeah, I mean, it's a lot of games being played here, and some tandems that you wouldn't really expect from different manufacturers as well, Chevy and a Toyota, but they all want to get past. They all want to beat these Pro Edge drivers. These Pro Edge trucks, they've been really dominant this series this year and as of late, and we'll see what can happen here.
Says you are on board with the flagman here. Once they get to those blue areas right there in that zone, it'll be up to the drivers to take off, as Chad Brakefield does once again. Dustin Dewar not able to get as good of a restart as he did that time, and now he's left the bottom lane open for 2 drivers to make a pass underneath the preferred area going into turn 1. So we'll see how Dustin Dewar does there. As again, a lot of 3 wide racing back to back. They haven't learned their lesson just yet. There's a lot of side-by-side racing going on back further there. Looks like 05 there underneath the 90. That'd be a battle there for right outside the top 10.
Yeah, these guys are going hard. And
yes, 3 wide through the dog leg back further. So, I mean, with situations like that, we'll be lucky to get past lap 1. But so far, so good.
Looks like Ethan Burrell took the lead from Chad Frankenfield, Trevor Elam, and Chad.
Nope. They're spinning around the 9 truck.
Spinning in the back.
It looks like Fody and the 9 got involved together, and that ended up sending Sean Ryan up the racetrack. And yeah, that caused another big pileup back further as Fody got into the grass a little bit, came back up the racetrack, got into the 9, and and there goes the
A sponsor truck.
The sponsor truck 78 has chosen the high lane for most of the wrecks and got by it. Unfortunately for that put him right in line with the wreck, as you will see the 9 truck come right up in the racetrack right in front of him.
Fody involved with another incident here tonight. He's been pretty busy tonight with his truck. But he's been caught up in some of these incidents. Most they haven't been called his fault. So it said race control had the 9 at fault. Sean Ryan.
I'm not sure why they did the 9 at fault. Why they did the 9 at fault?
That's what I'm trying to find out.
I'm not sure. Fody hit the grass and came
Fody
up.
hit the grass. I'm not sure.
That seems like a seems like a full lane, even more some for a car or a truck to be down there. I mean, perfectly fine.
Okay, let's go green from. Go regular pace here, and we'll see. But I
entered up high, hit the grass, went low, and shot right back up to the 9. So I'm unsure of how that's on Sean Ryan.
I don't see how that's on Sean Ryan.
I'm sure Sean will be appealing that one, maybe momentarily or after the race. Because for sure that does not look like
mistake by Fody.
Yes,
he does not make a ton.
Absolutely,
Fody hit the grass and came up the racetrack, so I'm not sure. And I'll non-biased partisan in this, but that definitely would not be something I would blame Sean Ryan and give him a tally for. That's that's something that I'm not sure what race control was looking at, but we did see a battle for the we didn't see a battle for the lead, but it looks like Ethan Burrell able to get past Chad Frankenfield. Not sure when that happened because we were concentrating on the wrecks that were starting to form in the back there, but it does look like we'll try to see if we can get a replay. Ethan Burrell must have had a really good run coming out of turn 1. This is going into turn 2. Able to wrap around. Looks like Chad got a little loose and allowed Ethan Burrell to be able to clear himself going down this little straightaway going into turn 3. Oh, aggressive move by Trevor Elam to try to see if he could have taken second place away. So very good maneuver by Ethan Burrell to get himself out front. Wow, that was close by Dustin Dewar to almost got into the back of Trevor Elam there. That's about when the caution came out right there. So, yeah, sorry we missed that, folks. But, Ethan Burrell able to get himself past Chad Frankenfield. And so now that put Frankenfield in second. Trevor Elam now into third. We have to keep an eye on Trevor Elam. If there's a driver that's very aggressive on restarts, that would be Trevor Elam. He is not he is not shy to put it pretty wide and throw it in there. Same with Chad Frankenfield. So I wouldn't even count out Chad Frankenfield just yet, as they're starting to line up. Some of them are making really aggressive lineup maneuvers back there.
Yeah.
I don't think
some late calls, it seemed like, back in the pack.
Yeah, definitely some drivers really making their calls very known as they dive down to the bottom lane. So, just looks like Chad Frankenfield's going to line up behind Ethan Burrell there. Ethan Burrell now back out front with the pole sitter. And he's got to be feeling pretty good. This lap, they'll be going green on lap 15. And really the other competitor that was fairly competitive with him was Scott Crump and Matthew Weeks, and they're still 9th and 11th. So, I mean, even if it goes green from here on out, I would have to believe that all these drivers are now good on fuel. They've all had plenty of time to save fuel. Even Chad Frankenfield, I would have to believe, is good on fuel with how many cautions we've had. caution laps. So now it's just about race pace. He's able to really be able to keep it up there with older tires. And I'd have to believe, I don't think there's 16 laps. It's going to be difficult for the Matthew Weeks or maybe even Scott Crump to try to get through traffic with how difficult and notorious it is to get past traffic at Pocono.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting for Chad Frankenfield, see what he can do. He's lost the lead now. He's going to line up behind Ethan, see if he can time the restart just perfectly to be with him on his back bumper heading into turn 1, and he hopes to be clear of that 29 as they enter that as well.
Here they come into the restart lane here once again. Green flag is out. Burrell gets up to the start button. Really quick stuff by Trevor Elon, one of the best of the season I've seen from a driver lined outside of the starting car. Trevor Elon gets a fantastic start, able to go side by side into turn 1. Dustin Dewar
he's going to take the lead.
Bumper. Yeah, Trevor Elon does. He does take the lead. That is something you don't see very often on restarts on iRacing. Unless there's a mistake, but Trevor Elon able to get out front. Ethan Burrell now looking to get back underneath. The battle going in to turn number 2 side by side. Trevor Elon backed off a lot, allowed 37 to clear him. And Chad Frankenfield now to battle with. Not sure why Trevor Elon backed up a lot going into turn 2.
Yeah, absolutely. He's battling to get into the playoffs as well. He's a red marked driver up there at your top left of your screen, and oh man, I would have been way more aggressive. I would have definitely covered off the inside and the outside, down the back stretch, the long pond straightaway over Ethan Burrell, not giving him a chance to even make a look to the inside. Forced him to go outside is what I would have done, but wow.
Yeah, after having a great restart, he's already back down to 3rd, so I mean, if you're going to have that aggressive of a restart, you see Chad Frankenfield being really aggressive here. Almost got turned due to that as they go into turn 2. Trevor Elon will have the preferred spot, but Chad Frankenfield not going to make it easy on him. Holds him very tightly as here they come down the shorter straightaway here going into turn 3. This is kind of evened up. There's not really a benefit for one or the other, but Trevor Elon able to throw it in far enough. But Chad Frankenfield looking to do a cutover move. Now to the inside of Trevor Elon, as here they come down the front straightaway. All this is to the benefit of Ethan Burrell, able to get himself almost to a second lead, as it is still side by side for second place here.
Trevor just cannot get quite clear of that 15, and it's absolutely destroying his chances. And he gets the apron, and he gets a little loose. He's going to lose the momentum, and maybe
Dustin Dewar right behind him. Actually stayed right behind. I would have thought Dustin would have tried to make the pass, but gave him a little bit of a bump to help Trevor there. That's going to put Trevor back onto the back bumper. Chad Frankenfield to try to see if he can work his way back up. Still a good battling, starting to shape up back there, as it looks like Scott Crump able to get himself up into the 6th position. Made a pass on Ethan Stanley there. So it looks like Scott Crump trying to work his way back up to the front.
See Robert Hill there, P8. He's made his way inside to the top 10. He's ahead of his teammate right there, Matthew Weeks, as well, and Trey Holmes, his other teammate. And Pro Edge has been they've been all running super well today. The exception, unfortunately, is Tate Lytle, who was having a super strong run before he unfortunately got caught up in that crash.
Yeah, a lot of drivers with red banners in the top 10, so a lot of drivers trying to make a strong run here late in the season to try to get themselves into points. Again, a win would very much help you in that situation, as you see a battle right here. Jesse Rasmus trying to get underneath Dustin here in the number 32 truck going into turn 3. He might be able to clear him as long as he doesn't slide up out of the turn. Looks like they'll still be side by side. Ooh, getting close. Dustin decided to go about pushing the 70, so that will put the 32 truck down to the 5th position. Still a really good run considering how he had to get himself up there.
Absolutely, he's holding on super strong. I mean, I think at this point, I mean, as long as the tires don't completely die off of that truck, he should hopefully stay inside the top 10 for, a top 10 finish. But yeah, super impressive. He's still in the top 5 at the moment, getting chased down by Scott Crump. And but yeah, I mean, still anything can happen. We could have a couple more cautions, and the leaders could get into it, and Dewar could find himself in a position to possibly get a podium and sniff a victory if things shake out well.
See there, Matthew Weeks in 9th place, trying to go after the 8th position. Robert Hill, he knows he's running out of time. There's 10 laps to go. He won stage 1, trying to get back up there. He's got a good run down this front straightaway to be able to get to the inside of Robert Hill Jr. there. Is able to go about clearing him now going into turn 1. Robert Hill's going to try to battle back on the outside, gets a little loose, and will bow out of that position. You see Dustin Durer up there starting to lose a little bit of tire life because he is starting to lose position. It's going to allow Scott Crump to be on the inside of him as they go into turn 2.
Weeks is the one on the fresher tire strategy, in lap 31.
Is that what it is? Matthew Weeks on the newest tire?
Yep,
We'll
he's on the newest tire coming through the field. Everybody else, he's about 9 laps on everybody else ahead of him.
You saw there 32 and the 97 or 91.
He's going to have to take him 3. He's got a good enough run. He's going to.
Yeah, 3 wide down the front straightaway. This is a battle for 6th position. This is what Weeks needs to do. He needs to click off as many positions as possible to make use of those newer tires. Going into turn 1, able to clear the 91 there. Still side by side with Dustin Dewar there, as Dustin's going to have the momentum on the outside as this is starting to shape up and stack up a good wad of them. This is all a battle for 6th position here, 3 seconds behind the leader.
Yeah, this is intense racing right here. Matthew Weeks on the freshest tires in the field, like you guys said.
Wow. That's a really good job holding that outside lane. That's now going to have the 91 Stanley there, side by side with Holmes. Stanley threw it in there in turn 3, able to clear himself. So it's evened out just a little bit, but this battle is not over. Dustin's going to have a hard time staying in the top 10 if he doesn't get something going this way here, because they are all stacking up behind him to try to make that position on him.
And next up for Matthew Weeks, his best friend, Scott Crump.
Yeah, those two notoriously.
Oh, we got a yellow.
We do have a caution. Now this is going to really be interesting once we figure out what the caution was for, to see how that shakes up if anybody decides to come in and take tires. Because now we've had quite a bit of laps under green there. There may be I'm not sure why it's showing Scott Crump. I don't think he was a caution.
20.
They're saying it's on the 20.
Okay, let me find the 20.
Oh
no, Brent Jones.
That was Brent Jones involved in that.
Oh, yes, 20 got in the wall.
Some net code. Yeah, 20 got into the wall, came down on Corey Abbott, but a little net code didn't help the situation. And unfortunately for Brent Jones, one of those drivers that was just in, I stated that in the very beginning of the race, he was just looking to try to finish off in a decent, manageable position. But that is a ton of damage for that 89 truck.
That's heartbreaking for Brent Jones. He was he was minding his business. He was running really well up there, all day, top 15-ish around there, and was going to hopefully, bring in some good points to, further his playoff hopes. And to have that happen with 8 laps to go is heart-wrenching, and I feel absolutely terrible for the driver of the 89.
Yeah, because now he's going to go all the way back to the 25th position when he was running. I believe he was running at the time somewhere around maybe like the 18th or 19th or 18th, 17th or 18th position. So back to 25th, Brent Jones with a ton of damage. So unfortunately for him, but this does set up a question here. If there is any advantage of tires, do you pit? Because all these drivers should have a set of tires left.
This is tough. This is a tough call. I think if you're the leaders, I feel like you've made your bed here. And if
I'm an Ethan Stanley or a Holmes, one of those drivers that's not racing for points further back there, I don't see why you don't pit.
Oh,
or Chad Frankenfield.
oh, they're gonna pit.
Wow!
Wow, they're gonna pit.
I would not have expected that. I would have not expected tires wouldn't have been that big of a thing. But a lot of drivers pitting. Some are staying out. One of those being Scott Crump. Hill is staying out. A few other drivers staying out, but not as many as I had thought.
Oh man, this is
I don't know if I would have stayed out.
Got Scott Crump, Robert Hill, Joshua Arnold, Sam Boutwell, Drake Berry staying out so far from what I can see. Michael Hosak, Cody Harrington, the 7 drivers that stayed out. Did Fody get ahead of Ethan Burrell off pit road?
He did.
Oh my gosh, a 2-tire call?
Oh, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on.
Oh, Frankenfield couldn't be Elam off. Elam gets over Frankenfield.
So 6 drivers stay out. And you see how many of them have red stickers on their name. But other drivers like Fody, 2 tires, Ethan Burrell, Trevor Elam able to get past Chad Frankenfield under pits there. There's a ton of things going to be going on here with only 4 laps to finish it, if it's truly going to be just 4 laps. This sets up everything. This changes literally the entire aspect of how everything was looking prior to that caution. Wow.
Yeah, I mean these drivers that they just got tires, they're going to need a couple laps under green to
if I was Matthew
get by these drivers.
Why pit? you just pitted and you had the advantage on tires, and you saw how difficult it was to go back up to the front. I mean, Matthew Weeks is now going to find himself back in 13th, back to where he has to try to do it again, and with no time to do it. I don't know. I think I would have probably risked it if I was not, if I wasn't really running for anything but a victory out there. Like you saw Chad Frankenfield, you saw Dustin do such a good job with a little older tires, staying out front. We saw what new tires did. Yes, there was an advantage. I'm not saying there's not, but like it's Pocono. If you can get out to a decent restart, you can get some really good distance. So we saw Scott Crump have issues on pit road, go all the way to the back. And this is exactly what Scott Crump needed. And there's a driver that's going to do something different than the field. It's going to be Scott Crump. And I got to say, this is right to what Scott Crump needed. He's got 6 drivers behind him to help play a little defense between him and newer tires. And he only has to go around 4 times to be able to do it. So it's going to be setting up. This might be exactly what Scott Crump required to be able to make an effort to come home with victory. We saw he had a good speed in stage 1, coming home 4th in the stage. So we know he had speed to be able to do it. But does he have luck on his side with how cautions play out? That's the question to come into mind here.
This one is going to be interesting. Robert Hill is sitting there. He chose the outside lane behind Scott Crump, the leader. So he's going to be hoping to get a good start. Our teammate from up here in Elite Racing Network, and see what he could do. Another red numbered driver, looking for a big points haul tonight, and he's got 4 laps to see what he could do from the top 2 rows.
Looks like it's going to be all on Scott Crump. He's going to go across the restart line now. Out to a really good start there. Ooh, some tires spinning from some of the drivers. And that just gives Scott Crump about a 5 to 6 truck length lead. That's what he needed. But here comes Fody. You see that. He makes the move onto 66. I have a feeling it's going to be difficult to get past turn 1. Are they going to be able to do it cleanly? So far, so well. But the 66 really sliding up. Oh, you got to be careful. He's one of those that stayed out on old tires. He's going to be put 3 wide. Oh, no!
Oh, no!
Big wreck. A lot of trucks involved. And that's because it all got really, really tight and nowhere to go.
Oh, this may help the drivers with tires. Maybe. Odie's in 4th. Ethan Burrell is in 5th. They got those those quick 3-4 spots just like that off the restart.
Oh, I see. There's a little bit of netco between the 24 and the 01. Just got him just hooked just enough. 6-6 is lucky he didn't get involved. Something. Round goes to 91. Comes back up the racetrack, gets involved with 83. The 79 getting sideswiped. Didn't even see it coming.
Big contact, big wreck there on the Long Pond Straight. And
25 involved.
wow.
I mean, there's a good maybe 12 trucks involved in that.
Yeah, look, Tyler Dixon, he thought he was probably going to get through it, and he gets hit from behind.
Just tagged at the end there. Luckily for him, didn't get any worse off from that, able to keep going. Let's watch that again.
Hold on, I was typing. What do you want to see again?
Let's see the initial contact again here. I want to see.
Yeah.
I didn't get the full gist of everyone that might have been involved. Did Rasmus get involved? I didn't see that. Yeah, it looks like he will be involved. Yeah, the 70 involved there. 39, 24 involved as well. Michael Hosak. 70, wow, did he keep that straight?
Yep, he got it back on.
Wow. Wow, I would have thought with how hard of a contact he had, I thought he was going to go around as well. Somehow the 70 Jesse Rasmus able to keep on going. That's
Poor
incredible.
Dixon.
Yeah,
Last second clip in the left rear.
Yeah, so Jesse Rasmus, good handle on his vehicle. Somehow, I mean, he just gets clobbered onto the side. I mean, let's see how far his steering wheel went.
Woo!
Pretty good.
Yeah, I'd say close to 45 degrees. He was pointed sideways right there. That was towards the wall. That was very impressive.
Yeah.
There's Brent Jones.
Able to stay in the top 10 though for 70. So good run for him. One of those drivers looking to try to get some points going his way as he's outside the playoffs right now. So he did not want to be being turned around at all. It looks like they'll be lining them back up next time by to go about getting them restarted here. But this does set up another scenario, as you said. This helped Fody and Ethan Burrell able to get up there. Fody again 2 tires, Ethan Burrell 4. Trevor Elon back there in 7th with 4 tires. Frankenfield is back there in 8th.
This will make for an interesting first attempt at a green-white checkered. Yeah, we have 3 attempts here, so we can do this another 2 times if they do wreck in that lap before the white flag. So
nice recovery for Adam Newbert. Back up to 14th.
Absolutely.
Yeah, back up there.
Great recovery.
This team owner, not so well. He's out of the race, but luckily they have one driver still in the shot. And good for him because that truck was absolutely destroyed. You know he's had to have a lot of damage fixed, but luckily the cautions played out for him to be able to get some fixed with how many cautions we had. So at least he'll have a decent shot to still be able to have a chance at the top 10. If we get another wreck of that magnitude, he'll have a very good shot if he can survive it. So at this point, if you're back further out inside the top 10, you just got to hope you survive the wreck because you saw how it was down that straightaway. When they start clobbering them up, there's not a lot of room. You're going at such pace. It's pretty difficult to avoid them when they start going sideways and all over the area because you just don't have a lot of time to react. So if you're outside the top 10, you're gonna try to keep your steering wheel on a swivel. It's just you might need a zigzag here in a short bit.
Tyler Fody.
I was just about to say that. I predict Tyler Fody will probably be looking to try to see if he can pass the 05.
He is going to take the 3 wide.
Yeah.
I am for sure.
If I was the 05, I'd be very much looking in my mirror, waiting to see when the 40 truck decides he's going to try to duck underneath you going into turn 1. I would have to believe Fody is not going to be waiting far behind trying to make that move once they get past the flag stand. He just has to make sure it's after the flag stand. Otherwise, he'll get an EOL for that. So be interesting to see how that plays out between those two drivers. Ethan Brown doesn't really have much of an option in that outside lane on the third row. He's gonna just have to push the 82 forward of Arnold there. And that's about the only option he has for this restart. But drivers like the 40, 29 of Elam, I think it's all going to be about who can play the best restart and who can be the most aggressive on this restart.
Yeah, that 37, you said it. Ethan's basically, he's stuck right there behind the 82 unless, Fody makes a move and Ethan somehow does get clear of the 29. He could
You see Fody's not really onto the back bumper.
Yeah, he's gonna get a good jump.
He's gonna try to play it here. You're gonna see him start rolling up a little bit closer, and green flag is out.
Oh, he didn't do that good.
Oh, Trevor Elam's gonna get him now. I have a feeling Trevor Elam might try to make a move on Fody. No, right now he's pushing him.
Oh, he's gonna make it. Last second dive bomb by Fody going into one.
He had the help from Trevor Elam. Elam could have tried to make the move on Fody, decided to push him instead, and that will help Fody get out to second as they're 3 wide.
Oh, Robert Hill!
Hill Jr.
No! Oh, wow. My gosh, what a hit!
Wow, the 79 sent him flying. I think he went out of the track.
Oh, my goodness.
I think Robert Hill might have
left the building.
Squeezed. Yeah, on that back straightaway, I think Hill was getting squeezed, and he ended up trying to squeeze up, and that's when the 82 and the 05 there ended up making contact, and then the 79 came and just snowplowed him into oblivion.
Scott Crump's lost all of his defense.
Yeah, Scott Crump is on an island to his own right now. You'll see here. Elam comes up a little bit, squeeze, and the 05 just ends up giving not enough room to the 82. And then here comes the 79.
Oh yeah. Sent him into the bushes. There's there's no fence there. They still don't have a fence. Actually, yes, they do now. They finally put up a fence, but I guess it didn't work too well.
Not when you fly over it.
Casey Kane almost went. He did go into the bushes.
He
almost went outside the track.
They didn't show it for your benefit at home, but the 05 was sent into the air there. I think there was another driver involved that made some contact later on with the 85 there. Try to see if we can get an 82. I'm sorry, 82 there after he got spun back around.
We got actually the driver of the 05 in our waiting room, Robert Hill.
Yeah, you want to bring him up?
He's in our infield care center waiting to be talked to.
Hey, Robert Hill, I'm glad you're okay. This doesn't help your playoff hopes, as you were getting a really good run there going. But overall, you got sent flying there. Is everything good on the steering rig still, or did was that a big of a hit that we saw?
Yeah, we were trying to do whatever we could tonight. We led a lap on our caution, stayed out. I haven't pit since the stage, trying to gain as much track position as we could. And unfortunately, Netcode pushed us up into Arnold, and we cleared the fence.
Well, you still have a shot, because technically all you have to do is win. As long as there's not a new winner this week that's ahead of you in points. If you get a win, you still have a shot of making it. And in 2 weeks from now will be Atlanta. So you still have a shot, Robert, to if you have a good run like you did tonight, you can be able to pull it off at Atlanta. You could still try to easily make your way into the playoffs here.
Yeah, we still have a good shot. I mean, some guys that we were racing against had some issues tonight, and a few guys also didn't show up for the race. Jake Roll, Latham Joyner, Jake Finch. So we do have an opportunity to move up. I think we should be in a playoff spot after tonight, but still work to do for our Pit Pass Network number 05 machine.
Well, we look forward to being able to see you next week. Hopefully, not while the race is still going on.
Yeah, and shockingly, this car's still drivable, so I'm going to go out and finish this race.
You go ahead and finish it out and everything. We'll see you again in 2 weeks, and good luck to you. All right, Robert.
Thank you.
That was
Yeah.
Robert Hill Jr. there.
I mean, if the truck is driving, if it drives, you might as well go out there and see if you can get an extra couple positions and points and stuff.
Well,
That could make a huge difference still.
As he stated, some of his other competitors, like Brent Jones and some of those others that were right on the cut there, Norgard, one of those as well. You know, those drivers there, they're out of the race. So he's got to, if it means 1 or 2 spots, I mean, that may end up being all the difference at the end of the season. So next week we'll have a really good, or in 2 weeks from now, the final race, we'll have a really good shot of knowing exactly what it's going to take to get into the playoffs. Right now, it's a lot of what-ifs, but we'll just have to see. I'm surprised that thing is still going after the shot it took. Kind of looks like kind of like what happened to the Formula One race today. One going up in the air and still coming back to finish 7th. So maybe he still has a shot at a good top 10 finish. I doubt it since he's a lap down, but at least he's going to be able to hopefully finish here.
Yeah, I mean, and also he is, like you said, a lap down, and he is the first car 1 lap down. So he only has to battle 2 other drivers. That's Tyler Dixon and Mark Murphy. Dixon is on pit road. Mark Murphy is he's going into turn 3, still trying to catch up. So I mean, if they do wreck, Robert doesn't get any involved at all. Doesn't stop on the track. He could get a quick lucky dog, get back on the lead lap, and set up for a final restart on the lead lap, and hopefully some more carnage for him can happen, and he could gain a few more spots in the melee if that does happen. So not all's not lost for Robert. We're all super surprised this truck is still going. I'm sure he is as well, because that was an insane hit that he took to the bushes and out of the track, and to see it still going, hopefully he can make the most of these last few laps. And
well, this sets up an interesting event up here. Fody, who was second, decided to take the outside lane behind Scott Crump. Trevor Elam going to be onto the inside. So Scott Crump's got no help behind him now with tires. I thought it was going to be to his benefit, but right now he's got a lot of defending off. If he can be able to complete it, it will be a race. It'd be one of the best things we've seen this season if he can be able to hold them off. But right now they'll be going across the restart lane. Green flag is out. This may potentially be the last restart here. Looks like there's a lot of 2 wide going on, 3 wide back further, but right now side by side for second, Trevor Elam, Tyler Fody going into turn number 1. Scott Crump has only about a truck length lead over both of them. Fody trying to get the outside lane running.
a little loose by Trevor on the inside.
Yeah, Ethan Burrell right behind him. Is he going to push him? No, it looks like Fody is able to clear himself. So now Fody will go to town here, trying to see if he can beat Scott Crump going into turn 2. This is about where the most advantage you'll have with new tires. Trevor Elam in there. He still side by side for 4th. It looks like Chad Frankfield able to get the 4th position over Ethan Burrell. Let's go back up to the lead here. Oh, good run by the 40. Good run down the 40. Is 90 going to be able to put a block to hold him back there?
He's going to have to. Oh, my goodness. Watch out for Trevor here.
Last lap, so they will come back around. Regardless if there's a wreck, this will be the end. This will be the last lap, side by side going into turn 1. 90 truck throws it in there very well, able to clear himself. Fody not as good at turn 1 as he would have hoped. Now has to keep the 29 behind him. He will only have 2 turns to do it.
It's going to be a big send to turn 2. Maybe, possibly.
Oh,
no, you a big bump, though.
And then the 40 truck is going to get bumped. Oh, he's going to actually help to his benefit.
Oh, goodness.
Scott Crump down low, not able
Anybody of these 5 can win. There's a wreck. Trevor to the bottom.
He makes contact with Fody, but here they come.
Can he get a push?
4 wide.
4 wide to the finish.
But here comes Fody down the straightaway and will win it here at Pocono with contact being made. Oh boy, that was a heck of almost a 4 wide finish if contact didn't end up turning Chad Frankenfield around. That would have been an interesting setup there. But here's the last turn here. Trevor Elam to the inside of Fody. Here comes here comes Chad Frankenfield and Ethan Brell with the majority of speed with them. Unfortunately, Trevor Elam puts on a little late block for Chad Frankenfield, sends him around, and there goes Fody to win it. Oh boy, 4 wide coming out of the last turn. What could you ask for more in a Truck Series event? 4 wide coming out of turn 3 to come down the come down the final straightaway.
That is incredible. Tyler Fody led 1 lap. 1 lap. And the only lap you really want to lead is this last one.
With
For
2
sure.
tires, yeah.
2 tires was the call.
Was the call to put him out front there, at least in front of the newer tires. Unfortunately for Scott Crump, went into turn 2 with the lead and ends up finishing 5th. But even worse for Chad Frankenfield, because I think he finished backwards across the line to finish in 20th position. Yeah, Trevor Elam was only 8 hundredths of a second away from locking himself in with a win. But good points for him. Also, Dustin Dewar there comes away with a 7th with a really good run here at Pocono. He's going to have some really good points going his way. We're going to give it over to David here to give our finishing results here, as there's a lot of argument going on in Racing Chat right now.
All right, officially, Tyler Fody is our winner. 2nd, Trevor Elam. 3rd, Ethan Burrell. 4th, Matthew Weeks. Scott Crump, Trey Holmes, Dustin Dewar, Sean Ryan, Adam Newbert, Cody Harrington, Sam Batwell, Corey Abbott, Josh Freed, Ethan Stanley, Alex Van Zant, Cody McCorkle, Andrew Hardcastle, Drake Berry, Michael Hosack, Chad Frankenfield finishes in 20th, Jesse Rasmus, Robert Hill, Mark Murphy, Tyler Dixon, Joshua Arnold, Mark Rebelis, Wesley Crump, Brent Jones, Daniel Martinez, Jaden Rasmus, Jeff Sickles, Ray Bracey, Tate Lytle, Leighton Norgard. And wrapping it out is Alexander Gray in 35th.
We'll talk about, to the name, and our race sponsor name, Sick Wit It Motorsports. Look at that. The Ford truck comes home in 9th, so did exactly what his team name is. He stuck with it after getting hard wrecked. Comes home with a top 10 in their race, essentially, here. But let's go back to that wreck with Chad Frankenfield. People were wanting to know, when he hit that inside wall, they're saying he came back up the racetrack, and maybe a few other trucks got involved there coming across the line, I think. So we'll see here with Chad Frankenfield, see if anyone else was involved after the incident here. I mean, a hard hit to the inside wall. Comes back up the racetrack. Oh yeah.
The sponsor's car.
Couldn't even get across the line
So the
still
Ford
after
car
that.
finished. Hey, good news. Your Ford truck still finished in the top 10, but guess what? That truck is definitely no good anymore after that. You'll see here on board. So, yeah, Chad Frankenfield did come up the racetrack and did get into a tangle with some of these drivers. Dustin Dewar there made a great move to pass both of them coming out of turn 3. And here comes Chad Frankenfield right back up the racetrack. I don't think he hit the brakes. I think he just let it roll back up. Yeah, Cody Harrington even finished in 10th, so good job for Cody there. Sam Batwell almost got himself a top 10. Yeah, Chad Frankenfield didn't hit the brakes when he rolled back up the racetrack, did he? He let that thing roll all the way back up there, but yeah.
Wow, what a race. A lot of real good green flag run to start out. And then once that stage hit after that, it just all hell broke loose. So
Well, it looks
A
like
lot of action,
I
a
don't
lot
know
of
if we're gonna get
contact.
anyone in the waiting room. It looks
We
like
can't peel anybody away from the battle.
I know, they're all
talking.
talking to each other. They're all
Well,
yelling at each other.
we might not get any drivers for the waiting room here, but I gotta say, Harrison, that's exactly kind of finish you hope for at Pocono. I don't think there's ever been a race at Pocono that's in real life that's set up a good last lap as we just saw there.
That was that was incredible. Yeah, I've never absolutely ever seen a Pocono finish like that. I mean, it's hard enough to get two cars battling for a win at Pocono together, and let alone you got 4 wide coming out of turn 3 to the checkered flag. That was quite a sight. So yeah, fantastic finish for these drivers. Some not so many, obviously, not so good finishes, unfortunately. But for Fody, 2-tire call there. It really did help him. It got him the track position ahead of the 4-tire guys, and he had the confidence, and he knew he could make those 2 tires work and sail it to a win. I don't know about sail it, actually. That was a lot of work he had to do.
I don't think we're going to get any drivers in here. They're all a little bit too hypered up right now. But if you want more of that action, which is a lot of fun, I can't wait to see what Atlanta brings in 2 weeks from now. It's going to be the final race. There's going to be a lot on the line, and there's going to be a lot of enjoyment to be made. We're going to go early a little bit for 2 weeks from now just to go over all the scenarios. But we do hope that you show up. That will be in November. What is that? November 6th? Yes, November 6th is which is a Sunday. If you want to show up for that, that's going to be an interesting final race of the playoffs. We hope a regular season. We hope everyone shows up for that. Thank you for joining me, David. Thank you for joining me, Harrison. That was a lot of fun for tonight's event, and yeah, I hope we are able to get that kind of action for next week as well. But yeah, we thank you all very much. Thank you again, David, for bringing these wonderful shots. Thank you for Harrison for joining me tonight, and yeah, we'll look forward to it again in 2 weeks from now. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful night. And hopefully we'll catch you on the next one.
Hey, I got one last thing for you here on the screen. Just came out. Tally issued to the 15 for not holding the brake.
That's about what I expected. I wasn't going to say anything, but definitely felt like the 15 didn't hold the brakes. But I do appreciate you bringing that up. That'll let me sleep better at night, David. All right.
Good night, everybody.